So yesterday, Xbox had their developers conference, which was pretty cool for the most part. If you're a fan of like the business of video games, which I am, I'm a big fan of the business side of video games and following that stuff. A lot of y'all probably wouldn't know that, but I am. I like to read all the newsletters and the things coming down the pike, and of course my marketing background. That stuff is fascinating to me. So I'm really pulling for Xbox. I'm always pulling for all the companies because I'm a fan of the business of video games. I don't have, I have a PlayStation, I have a Switch, I don't have an Xbox. There were some games that were shown at the conference that I thought, wow, if that lands, I would buy an Xbox for that. I would buy an Xbox for, let's say, like the new Fable or something like that, right? If it were good. I'm a big Fable fan. 360 was better than PS3. The Xbox 360 was the system of that generation. It beat the Wii. It beat the PS3. I just thought it was a better system. The good games on PS3 you could get on Xbox 360. But since then, it kind of seems like they've had a hard time finding their way. I'm pulling for Xbox. I am. I hope they can. I hope they can pull it out. I hope they can get back in the hunt. I really feel like being able to play all the games on Game Pass on a PC is actually it's hurt the hardware for Xbox 360 or Xbox Series X, because whether people want to say it or not, they're just like, well, I'm just going to play it. I'm a PC gamer. I'm just going to play these on my PC. I'm not going to worry about having to do a console game anymore. I'm just going to go strictly PC and just play games that come out on Xbox. That is absolutely happening. That's absolutely happening. And that's, I'm not going to get into all that kind of stuff right now. Maybe we'll talk business in another video, but there's another reason I wanted to make this video. And we have seen Hellblade 2 announced this 2019, and it's finally coming out. I think they said May 24th of this year is the release date for it. But there's no physical edition, and it's only a $49.99 price point. Which at $49.99 for a game that's their studio, like, look, it only costs $3.50 on a mass scale, $3.50 to $4 to box up and ship out a game. So, they're still getting their money, but they're still taking a cut on it. And it's like, why are they taking a cut on that? Because a lot of people want it. I think that game's going to be short. I don't think it's going to be a very long gameplay experience. Ninja Theory, that company, they make pretty games, but that, as far as the games themselves, kind of hit and miss with me. If I'm, cards on the table, if I'm being completely honest with you, games hit and miss. The Ninja Theory, they've got a good track record. I think they're good folks. I think they're great artists. But the games themselves are just hit and miss with me. That's just the way it is. I might be in the minority on that. I might be in the majority on that. I don't know. This isn't a fan poll. This is my opinion. If you look at the gaming industry right now, there is a bubble. There is a bubble on AAA games that is about to pop. This bubble is about to pop. They cannot keep sustaining rising prices and rising development costs and everything to make movies that are in development for 7 or 8 years. Now, I know we got Hellblade 2 announced in 2019, but at the Game Awards, but it was in development before that. So you're talking about a 7 or 8 year development cycle. Games start developing for hardware that it's going to land on that isn't even out yet. So there is the game industry is going to have to hit like the brakes hard in the next 10 years, and we'll see where things are at. But look, right now, you look at games like Hellblade 2 and a bunch of other games that are coming, and I know I'm not singling this game out, I'm not, but I feel like we've been waiting on this game forever. I know you're going to say, well, Ray, we were waiting on Final Fantasy VII Remake from 2015 to 2020. I know that, I understand that. We knew it was going to be a long wait for that game. They were just announcing it. We knew it was going to be a long wait. There was a long break without anything in there, and that was too long as well. That was too long as well. That is a part of this, right? So say what you will about where things are at in the game industry, we eating good, and all these other kind of memes people want to put out there. The companies are not eating good. Like, they're making a lot of money, but there's getting ready to be a whoa moment for all these companies that are making these big AAA titles. And Square Enix just recently put out a thing saying they want to slim down the games they put out. They want to focus more on AAA titles. There's got to be a happy medium, and here's why. Will I play, even if I love, let's say a game like Hellblade 2 coming out, that looks as pretty as it, that took as long to make, but it's like a 10 to 15 hour gameplay experience. You've got almost a decade into this game for something that somebody's going to knock out in a weekend and not think about 2 weeks later. Is that worth it? When I'm on my second run through of Sea of Stars. When you're putting 75 to 80 hours into a game like Sea of Stars that you can't wait to just play in your spare time, and a AAA looking game like a new Metal Gear Delta, we don't know how much replay value that's going to. We know how long that game is because it's a remake of a game that was actually a pretty decent playtime. But look at the Naughty Dog stuff, the remasters they're doing. Like on PS5, you got Last of Us 1 remaster, Last of Us 2 remaster, Last of Us, Uncharted, the remastered collection. But nothing new. They're taking all this time and all this money to remaster games that took a long time to develop anyway. What is going on? What is going on? When games I can knock out in a weekend and then not think about it, if that was a decade of your company, you might have to stop and hit the brakes. Now you're doing a digital only release and knocking it down to $50, a game that you should be selling for $70 on the shelf at a store. Now I get you don't want marketing, you don't want distribution prices, you don't want all that kind of stuff, and it's a first party game for Xbox. I think, don't they own Ninja Theory? I might be wrong about that, I don't know. I think Xbox owns Ninja Theory, I'm not sure. But I think this is an Xbox exclusive game they've got coming out. So they don't have any distribution costs or anything like that. They're just going to put it on Game Pass, so they're going to put it on their game service, I forget what it's called, and they're going to sell it there. You're going to be able to play it on PC, you're going to play it on Xbox Series X, whatever. You're going to knock it out in a weekend, and then in 2 to 4 weeks, you're not going to think about it again. That was a decade of those people's lives. Are we becoming so, are we just consuming this art form at such a rapid, fever pace that we're not really fully enjoying it? That's a question we gotta ask, because I think there are a lot of lives that go into making these things, and this is just a medium that we just take for granted so bad. Not just the developers, not just the programmers and the directors and stuff, but the artists, the artists that are rendering things, that are doing all the 3D art. 3D art's hard. I suck at it, and I'm a good artist. I suck at 3D art. That is hard stuff. And you've got armies of 3D artists making Hellblade 2, making Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, making all the games you're looking forward to coming out, the God of Wars of the world. God of War is an exception. That's one that's still getting DLC that people are still talking about. Every now and then you'll get a rare exception. Devil May Cry 5. You'll get a rare exception that people a year or two down the road are still talking about these games. But then think of how many games, and I'm invoking games that you've forgotten about now. Think about how many of these games that you played, that you were hyped for when they came out, that didn't quite hit the mark, but they were still okay, and then you forgot about it. You knocked them out in a weekend and you forgot about it. Or you knocked it out in 4 or 5 days and you forgot about it. People, these companies are pumping millions, hundreds of millions of dollars into these games for them to come out and just be okay and forgotten about, and in the bargain bin in a year. You know, on Black Friday, they're $10. They're 20 bucks at Walmart or Target during Black Friday. Not even a year after they came out. Because they underperformed, and companies are going to be like, well, put this in the sale packet. Put this in the sale ad for this week. People are going to be like, oh, that just came out this year. I didn't pick it up. I'll pick it up on Black Friday for $10. I'll pick it up on Black Friday for $20. That was 10 years of someone's life. That was 10 years in the lives of like 200 people. And it's just like, there's a bubble about to pop, people. There's a bubble that is about to pop, and get ready for it. If I can play an independent or third party or something like Sea of Stars or like any of the remasters that are coming out, Octopath Traveler, that's not a third party, it's not independent, I know it's Square Enix, but like an Octopath Traveler, like something that doesn't take 10 years to make, something that companies can knock out in 2 years, maybe 3 years, get out in responsible time for responsible profit, maximize what they, you spend $40-50 picking that thing up, and you're playing it for weeks. Because they can load it with content, because they can load it with DLC, because they can load it with well-written story and a pace that takes you 40-50 hours to fully get through it. 100 if you're a madman or a madwoman and just really want to get through it. If you are truly mad and want to put 90 to 100 hours in it, point is you can't do that with these big AAA games most of the time because they just take too friggin' long to make. They just take too friggin' long to make. And it's crazy right now. It is wild out there when you look at some of the numbers I look at and some other people. Shout out to Nine, he's a big video game business person. We text and talk sometimes about the business of video games. That guy's very knowledgeable. He's a channel you should be following for sure if you're into this kind of talk. You should actually absolutely be following him and checking his stuff out. But people, this is not sustainable. This is not sustainable, and get ready, because that's why companies like Ubisoft are putting out bullshit comments like, well, people should start getting used to not owning their video games. Part of what he means by that is people need to get ready for everything being digital and not physically having a copy of your game on your shelf. Well, maybe companies need to get real comfortable with consumers supporting companies that put out physical content. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Ubisoft. Like, you don't tell us what to do. We tell you what to do. We tell you what we want, and you make it. That's how supply and demand works. A lot of these people that work for these companies, they put these statements out, right? And it's like they never had PR training. This person must have came right out of college, no PR training, no semblance of how to talk to people, no business acumen whatsoever to put a statement out like that. If I had any Ubisoft games like ready, like I wanted to pick up, like I'm not picking up that new Assassin's Creed now because of that content. I'm just not. I wanted to play Mirage. I've been waiting to pick it up. I'm not picking that up now. I'm not. I actually messaged a couple of people I knew had played it. I was like, hey, how's Mirage? Is it worth picking up? Like, hey, if you can get it for 20 or 30 bucks, it's worth it, but I wouldn't pay 60 bucks for it. I'm like, bet, I'll pay 40 bucks for that. I'm not now. No. So, no, I will support companies that don't want to tell us what to do, that will do the right thing by the customers. It costs you $3.50 to put that thing in a box and send it to stores because you do it on such a massive scale. You're shipping 1 million, 2 million units out at once, and then you're good. You're good. Like if you send out 2 million copies worldwide of Assassin's Creed Mirage, not even that, if you send out 1 million, you're probably good. You pay that one time, it comes out to about $3, $3.50 a case, a game. You pay it once, you're good. You're good. You've already made your money back on it. You're good. Once it goes to distributors, distributors pay to get that brought to them. They pay a different price, but they still pay, and the companies have that balanced out to where they make their money back on it. So once a game ships, if you're good at business and you're not overselling yourself, then you've usually at least made your money back on it. Now, have you hit your profit where it wants to go? That remains to be seen. That secondary sales come in, second wave sales come in, all that kind of stuff. So to get in the black, yeah, you have to make some extra sales. But to tell me that you can't afford to put a game in a package and ship it out anymore, get the hell out of here with that mess. Get out of here with that mess. Talk to somebody who doesn't know. Try to convince some lemming out there that doesn't know. And then they can come to this channel and get wise. That's ridiculous. So the whole state, like, people are putting out announcements like that now because they're trying to brace for this bubble that's about to pop. They don't want to tell you there's a bubble about to pop, but when you see them pinching pennies, when you see Hellblade 2 isn't getting a physical release and it's only going to be $50 for you, we're doing this for you, they're trying to prepare and get as many sales in their rainy day fund, their snow day, for when this bubble pops. And to see the companies that are trying to figure out strategies to adjust prices and figure out ways to make the most profit, like a first party game coming out, only releasing on their service, like a PSN or a Game Pass or something like, or the Nintendo store, not getting a physical release. These are these companies hoarding all that money, not spending all that money on anything else, not giving you a physical edition, not doing the things they need to be doing, because they know this bubble is about to pop. And pop it will, so get ready. So demand these companies give you physical media because they can afford it. They can afford it. If it's like if an indie publisher on Kickstarter has a tier to where, hey, if you back our thing at this level, you might pay $100 or something like that, because they're only doing 4, 5, 6,000 copies, and it costs more the less you do. If they can do it at a tier for $100, give you a game, give you a strat guide, give you all this independently published stuff for $100 and still make a profit for their next campaign, these companies can give you don't let them lie to you. Don't let them lie to you. It's ridiculous. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. You know, Xbox, I'm pulling for you. Companies, stop with the bullshit. Give us the physical games. You're so full of shit. We know what this is. This is not the artists making this call. This is the people wearing the suits that tell the artists what to make. It's the same thing as commissioners and commissionees back in the days of the Renaissance. You know, the rich people tell the painters what to paint. That's exactly what's going on now. It's the same thing going on these days. Like, these video game developers, they have their little indie game they want to do. They have their little 30-hour RPG they would love to make, and they've got a great story for it. But it's not putting food on the table. It's not putting dollars in the pockets for the investors and for the suits at the top and everything. So they have to make what they want to make. And all these people want big AAA, open world, blah, 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 living movies that you play. It's not sustainable. Every company can't do it. Unless you have Xbox behind you, unless you have Sony behind you. Nintendo could probably do it, but they choose not to do it. And that's smart. Look at what Nintendo pumps out consistently. They're not always great games, but they're always consistently pretty good. You know, their first party games and the things they release under the Nintendo brand only. You know what I mean? So, yeah. There's a bubble about to pop. Get ready for it. Exciting times, because what's going to happen is we are going to be in a situation where companies, after 2 or 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, are going to have to come around and be like, okay, yeah, we're not selling anything. We have to give them what they want. Okay, let's make this, let's make that. Let's do the Chrono Trigger remaster or remake. Let's do this or that. You know, I mean, these companies are so bullheaded. You know, and I don't care if nobody wants to sponsor me after this video. I don't care. I don't care about that stuff. I care about telling the truth. And I don't see a lot of people talking about this. This is the truth. You're being lied to. Don't let them lie to you. Talk with your wallet. That's the only language they understand is green. That's like, whether it's a Japanese company, whether it's a French developer, whether it's an American developer, whether it's you know, some European developer, whatever, they all understand green. That's the language they all understand. So speak with the green, okay? Speak with the green. I see a lot of you Square Enix fans out there getting the snow globes and getting $400 collector's editions, which I wish I could have gotten the $400 collector's edition. I'm broke, I'm poor, so I can't. But you speak with the green and Square Enix hears you. Nothing wrong with that. You want that, you go out and get that. You get what you want. You can say you'll support things all day, but you'll speak with the green. That's the language we talk with. That's the language that these companies talk with too. And so if you want them to listen, speak their language. Anyway. And don't give them the green for things you don't want. And I'll leave it at that. Anyway, if y'all dug that, throw a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. More good stuff like that coming more often. I've got so many opinion pieces on so much stuff that's happening right now. I'm just like, it just feels good to get that stuff out there. So I hope you all have a great weekend. Have a great evening. Be safe, be good to each other. Take care. Keep rocking. I will see you all in the next video. Take it easy. I want to say a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members and supporters. If you would like to support the future creation of content on this channel, get some few extra perks and some art sent to your door every month, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. Details and links are in the video description.